My name is Gloria Rolando Casamayor. I was born in Havana, Cuba in 1953. I studied music and also art history at the University of Havana. And I am working in the Institute of Cuban Film since 1976 and also in my independent video group that the name is Images of the Caribbean. What I want to do? Well, my mother always told me about the Oblate Sisters of Providence, a black nuns congregation that is in Baltimore. And in 2014, I had the possibility to visit them, and I discovered the history of the Mother Maria Lange that is in process of canonization and was the first black woman to open a congregation of nuns for black women. And also I have the history of Henry Delilah in New Orleans that opened the Holy Family in New Orleans. And it looked very simple in those days, but it was not easy because they were blacks, they were free black people, but a lot of prohibition at that time. We are talking about the period of the slavery system. So these two women, Henry Delilah and Mother Lange, they struggled a lot, but finally they opened the congregation. In both cases, they belonged to families that came from Haiti, Cuba, migrate in 1809 to New Orleans, Baltimore, Charleston, and this is a history that not only I would like to talk about the Catholic Church, it's the history of the African diaspora, because the history of Henry Delilah and Mother Maria Lange is connected with the wave of immigrants that came from Haiti, Cuba, New Orleans, Baltimore, Charleston, and it's a history of the African diaspora. Sometimes we think that our history are totally disconnected, but no, the people, the regular people, they made their own history, and sometimes we don't find this kind of history connected between us in this continent in the book of history. So my intention is to help, especially for those who study the Caribbean studies, to do the history of the African diaspora, to see the kind of connection that we have. It's interesting because the Sisters of the Holy Family not only were in New Orleans, they spread in many other places. And in the case of the Holy Family and the case of the nuns in Baltimore, they went to Cuba at the beginning of the 20th century. And there they opened a school for poor black girls. That's how my mom, in the 20s, she got involved in that school. They are very well known in Cuba, like Las Oblatas, the Oblate Sisters of Providence. They were very well known in Cuba, like as Las Oblatas. And they opened a school in Havana, in Matanzas, in Camagüey, in Santiago de Cuba, and they help to increase the education of poor black girls in Cuba. So it's a history of dignity, it's a history of a struggle, it's a history that I want to talk, and I hope that you will be interested to support my project. Thank you very much.